approached a woman who appeared quite normal from the back. However, when we made our way to the front along with the crowd of people around us, we were indeed treated with the vision of a bearded lady. "My," exclaimed my companion, "it is true. The woman has indeed grown quite natural facial hair. Astounding." He leaned forward in line and pulled his spectacles from his pocket, squinting at the woman who simply sat and waved to passers-by. "Come along, Watson." I grinned and grabbed his coat lightly, pulling him along in line. "The fire-breather is at the end of this line." We made our way through the line and reached the end attraction, who was outside for fire safety purposes, of course. "Watch me swallow this fire whole and spit it out again," shouted the man, appearing to inhale a swirl of flame, then blow it out into a blaze resembling the dragons in children's books. The youth in the crowd clapped and hollered around him, giggling with glee. Even Watson seemed enchanted. "The throat is not designed to withstand the heat of a flame," he insisted, his glasses once again returning to the bridge of his nose as he inspected the sight. "I assure you, Watson, it is all for show," I explained yet again, patting his back. I had to admit, it was entertaining watching his face light up like a child's, so full of wonder and excitement for the world of the strange and fascinating. I pulled 2 tickets from my inside coat pocket as my friend stared at the fire-breather, who was yelling more explanations of his craft. Peering down at them, I checked the time on my watch, then looked back at the pieces of paper. "Almost the hour of the next show, dear chap," I announced to Watson, who turned to me for a brief moment, then back to the man projecting fire from his lungs. "But the fire-breather," he whined, holding his hands up in a gesture of disappointment. I sighed. "He'll be here after the trapeze act." My friend withdrew himself from the crowd, dejected as a punished schoolboy. I patted his shoulder as we made our way to the largest tent. "I assure you, Watson, this spectacle will be well worth your time. There are dancing horses, beautiful trapeze artists, and lions." His eyes sparkled at the mention of lions. I held in my laugh this time, leading him inside to sit on a raised set of platforms along with many other people. "May I present the spectacular, magnificent, untamable Larson Brothers Circus performers!" cried the announcer, gesturing as the cast of characters entered the tent. Around the centre ring they walked, waving while the crowd cheered. Of course I joined in with Watson, who was frantically looking for the lions. "There they are," he pointed, shaking his arm in emphasis. Led in with chains and multiple guides, 2 shabby-looking lions gave 2 pathetic roars. I considered the price of the Carnival ticket for a brief moment. As we sat back in our seats, the show began. There were baton-twirling young girls, all dressed in glittering ballerina outfits, skipping on the ground. There were horses decorated with ribbons and paint, and mounted performers atop their backs. Their hooves kneaded the air as they whinnied to the delight of the crowd. The lions did not do much, in my honest opinion. They sat upon circular platforms and roared on command, frightening children and delighting braver audience members. Then it was time for the trapeze portion of the show. "Look, how high in the air!" exclaimed my dear friend, as 2 young women scaled teetering ladders towards the apex of the tent. Being slightly afraid of heights, the scene caught me in a nervous silence, my eyes glued to the women with the rest of the crowd. Gracefully, with an immeasurable amount of poise and skill, the women swung through the air on ropes and bars. I had about eased into enjoying the sight when time seemed to stand still. Watson gasped next to me. The entire crowd froze as one girl slipped from the bar, tumbling down, and crumpling into a heap on the ground. A woman's scream pierced the silence, and the tent erupted into chaos. I grabbed Watson's coat to steady myself as the audience swarmed down the platform and towards the exits. I could hardly believe the reaction. "We have to stay," I shouted to my companion, who nodded and moved towards the performing ring, closer down the seating platforms. I had a very strong hunch that foul play was involved, but I kept my mouth shut until the ushers and carnival workers had calmed the crowd down and assisted everyone in exiting the tent. We walked towards a small crowd of carnival performers, all huddled around the broken figure on the dirt. "Stay back!" A man stepped forward, placing a hand on my chest. He was visibly